Welcome to the Mud Pie Creations channel. Today I'm going to show you several tips and tricks to help you be more productive with the Tumble app. This tutorial is for version 2020. The following information may be slightly different for releases that will come after this version. There are other tutorials that are currently available or will be coming soon that will have more in-depth info on some of the topics I will show you today. This tutorial is intended to show you a small portion of features that you may not be aware of. The first subject I will demonstrate has to do with creating routines. Here are some tips for positioning the cheerleaders on the mat. When the cheerleader avatars are close together, especially if they overlap, you may have difficulty selecting a cheerleader that is behind another one. Here you can see that although I'm trying to select Grace, Bella is selected instead. Clicking on the avatar's face is the most accurate way to ensure that you select the one you intend to choose. The next tip is also related to selecting cheerleaders. You can left-click and hold down the mouse button as you draw a rectangle around one or more cheerleaders to quickly select any that are within the rectangle. Note that the cheerleader's opacity changes to show when they are selected. If you've gone through the Getting Started steps, you've probably already successfully set up your team members by choosing cheerleaders from the Setup tab. If you want to quickly display a team member's setup, you can do this by one of two ways. The first way is by right-clicking on a cheerleader on the mat and choosing Edit Cheerleader Info. This will launch the Setup Cheerleader screen with the team member selected and in edit mode. The second way is by pressing the Setup button beside the cheerleader's name on the Team Members tab. While we're here, we'll change this cheerleader's status to injured to show the next tip. As you can see, the cheerleader whose status was just changed has now been moved to the Injured Suspended section of the Team Members tab. Their position is now represented on the cheer mat with a placeholder. You can easily replace this injured cheerleader in the routine by right-clicking on the avatar and choosing Replace with Alternate from the context menu. Once the cheerleader is no longer injured or suspended, you can go back to the setup screen and change their status. Now they are back in the active list, and you can put them back in the routine by right-clicking and choosing Replace with Active. The next step is about the Move into Position action. You've probably already discovered that this action lets you move a cheerleader from one location on the mat to another over multiple counts. But did you know that you can use more than one move into position action in a row? Let's suppose that we want to move Bella behind everyone. We'll add a move into position action for 6 counts. And then set the designated position after the action. Since the move into position moves in a straight line, as we step through the action, we can see that she is going to collide with the other team members. To fix this, you can add more than one move into position action. We'll add another move action. Then we'll change the number of move counts to 3 for each of them. And we'll set the destination position for the first one to move out to the left in order to clear the other team members. Now we can see that she will move behind the rest of the team and there will be no collisions. The next tip is for the lock feature. This has already been shown in the How to Create Routines video, But in case you've missed it, I'll show it again quickly because it's an important concept. You should use the lock whenever you are modifying actions above any account that you have manually set positions. Here's what I mean. If I manually set a cheerleader's position on the mat and then add a position above the count where I have manually set the position, then the position will be lost unless I press the lock button. If I manually set a position and then press the lock button, now I can add a count above this one. And as you can see, now my manually set positions are retained. You only need to use the lock button if you've manually set positions and if you need to modify the actions above them. Now let's look at some more features that you may not be familiar with. When you're creating multiple groups for a section, you may want to be reminded what actions belong to the other groups. You can see the other groups by pressing the Group Actions button on the Display tab. This will show the list of actions for every count in the section's other groups. This routine ends with 2 toe touches. Let's see who's the best at toe touches so we can put them in the front. First, let me show you how you can assign skill ratings for each of your team members from the Setup Cheerleader screen. With these ratings set, we can press the Skills button on the Display tab. The rating that will be displayed is for the selected action. It turns out that Bella has 5 stars for toe touches, so we can move her to the front by right-clicking and choosing Swap Positions With. When you are finished creating a routine, you can print the actions by choosing Print from the File tab. You can print the entire routine for each team member, just a group's actions, or just the actions for a specific section or just one particular team member. There are many options to choose from. Speaking of actions, you may want to perform an action that is not listed in one of the 4 groups. You can set up a custom action by choosing the Actions button on the Setup tab. All of the actions will be listed and the standard ones are shown in a lighter font and cannot be edited. Click the Add link and you can enter the custom action's name and type. You can also specify the number of counts it takes to perform the action. If the action ends at a different location on the mat, you can check the Has Direction box and then choose whether it is a forward or backwards movement and how many panels it moves. You can enter fractions of panels with a decimal point. For example, 0.5 for a half panel. Next, I'd like to show you a tip with the Finances feature. When you go to the Finances screen, you will see the account for the team fund and each of your team members. You may have noticed a special account called Apply to Everyone, but you may not be sure what to do with it. If you want to add a fee to each member of the team, you could of course go to each team member's account and enter the fee. But the fastest way would be to make an entry using the Apply to Everyone account. Here you can enter the amount, the category, and also decide whether or not to also assign the fee to the alternates and injured or suspended team members. Note that these checkboxes for alternates and injured or suspended is for showing those members in the account list. To apply the fee to the alternates or injured members, make sure that these Apply To boxes are checked. Let's press the Apply button and see what has happened. If we go to the accounts for the team members, we see that they now have the fee in their account as an amount that is now owed. Nothing has changed for the team account because this is just a fee that we've assigned to everyone, but we've not received any payments yet. Now let's look at how we can apply a payment to everyone all at once. You may want to do this if you've received a donation to the team where the donor wants to donate to everyone's account, or if you've hosted a fundraiser that everyone will benefit equally. Let's suppose that you've held a bake sale and have earned $600. There are 12 team members, including the alternates. This means that we want to apply a $50 credit to everyone's account. We'll enter $50 for the Apply to Everyone account and choose Fundraiser Credit as the category. We'll also add a memo to remember that this was for the bake sale. Now let's look at the team members' accounts. We can see that they've each had their balances reduced by $50. When we go to the team account, we will see that we now have $600 that has been added to the team fund for the total of $600 that was received because of the bake sale. If not every team member worked at the bake sale, then you may want to only give credit amounts to the team members who helped earn the money. For example, maybe only 8 team members made baked goods or worked at the sale. In this case, you would need to go into each of the 8 team members' individual accounts and apply a $75 credit and not use the Apply to Everyone feature. But whenever you do need to apply a fee or payment to all of the members, this Apply to Everyone feature can save you some time. The last 3 features I would like to quickly show you are found on the Tumble option screen from the Setup tab. The first one is the color scheme. If you'd like to change the color scheme of the app to your favorite color, or maybe one of your team's colors, then you can select it here. When we close the screen, the new color will take effect. To go back to the default color scheme, you can click the Restore Default link. The second option that I'd like to show you is the Increment Grades feature. At the end of the school year, you can easily increment everyone's grade level by pressing this button. You'll be asked to confirm because you would either need to restore from a backup or manually change each grade back to the original one if you do this accidentally. Choosing to increment will set everyone's grade level to the next higher one. For example, all 9th graders will be set to the 10th grade. Seniors will be advanced to college freshman level. If you have a team member who is not advancing to the next grade, they may no longer be eligible for your team, but you can always go into the cheerleader setup and change their grade level back after pressing this button. And finally, once a year you will probably want to clear out any cheerleader info for previous team members and tryout candidates who are no longer in the grade range of your team. You can do that with the Remove Cheerleaders link. First, select the grade level. This is the grade and above that cheerleader info will be removed. For example, if you coach a high school team with grades 9 through 12, you could choose freshman. Freshman through senior grades are for college level. Now, when you press the Remove Cheerleaders link, you will see a confirmation message. This message will display the number of cheerleaders, including tryout candidates, that will be removed. Please note that you would need to restore from a backup to undo this operation, so be sure that you have any financial reports or contact information that you would like to keep before choosing to continue with the removal. That concludes this tutorial on Tumble tips and tricks. I hope you have found some useful information on features that you weren't previously aware of. Be sure to subscribe to the MudPie Creations channel for future videos on the Tumble app. If you have any feedback on Tumble, would like to submit an idea for a new feature, or need help with the app, please reach out to our team from the contact page of the MudPie Creations website or by emailing us at support@mudpiecreations.com. Thank you for watching.